Behold, we have bestowed it from on high as a discourse in the Arabic tongue, so that you might encompass it with your reason. In the measure that we reveal this Quran unto thee, Prophet, we explain it to thee in the best possible way, seeing that ere this thou wert indeed among those who are unaware of what revelation is. Lo, thus spoke Joseph unto his father.
O my father, behold, I saw in a dream 11 stars as well as the sun and the moon. I saw them prostrate themselves before me.
Jacob replied, O my dear son, do not relate thy dream to thy brothers, lest out of envy they devise an evil scheme against thee. Verily Satan is man's open foe. For, as thou hast been shown in thy dream, even thus will thy sustainer elect thee, and will impart unto thee some understanding of the inner meaning of happenings, and will bestow the full measure of his blessings upon thee and upon the house of Jacob, even as aforetime he bestowed it in full measure upon thy forefathers Abraham and Isaac. Verily thy sustainer is all-knowing, wise. Indeed, in the story of Joseph and his brothers, there are messages for all who search after truth. Now Joseph's brothers spoke thus to one another. Truly Joseph and his brother Benjamin are dearer to our father than we, even though we are so many. Behold, our father is surely suffering from an aberration. Said one of them, Slay Joseph, or else drive him away to some faraway land, so that your father's regard may be for you alone. And after this is done, you will be free to repent and to live once again as righteous people. Another of them said, Do not slay Joseph, but rather, if you must do something, cast him into the dark depths of this well, whence some caravan may pick him up. On this they agreed, and thereupon they spoke thus to their father, O our father, wherefore wilt thou not trust us with Joseph, seeing that we are indeed his well-wishers? Jacob answered, Behold, it grieves me indeed to think that you might take him with you, for I dread lest the wolf devour him at a moment when you are heedless of him. Said they, Surely, if the wolf were to devour him, notwithstanding that we are so many, then behold, we ought ourselves to perish. And so, when they went away with him, they decided to cast him into the dark depths of the well. And we revealed this unto him. Thou wilt yet remind them of this their deed at a time when they shall not perceive who thou art. And at nightfall they came to their father, weeping, and said, O our father, behold, we went off racing with one another, and left Joseph behind with our things. And thereupon the wolf devoured him. But we know that thou wouldst not believe us, even though we speak the truth. And they produced his tunic with false blood upon it. But Jacob exclaimed, Nay, but it is your own minds that have made so terrible a happening seem a matter of little account to you. But as for myself, patience in adversity is most goodly in the sight of God. And it is to God alone that I pray to give me strength to bear the misfortune which you have described to me. And there came a caravan, and they sent forth their drawer of water, and he let down his bucket into the well. And when he saw Joseph, he exclaimed, Oh, what a lucky find this boy! And they hid him with a view to selling him. But God had full knowledge of all that they were doing, and they sold him for a paltry price, a mere few silver coins. Thus low did they value him. And the man from Egypt who bought him said to his wife, Make his stay with us honorable. He may well be of use to us, or we may adopt him as a son. And thus we gave unto Joseph a firm place on earth. And we did this so that we might impart unto him some understanding of the inner meaning of happenings. For God always prevails in whatever be his purpose, but most people know it not. And when he reached full manhood, we bestowed upon him the ability to judge between right and wrong, as well as innate knowledge. For thus do we reward the doers of good. And it so happened that she in whose house he was living conceived a passion for him, and sought to make him yield himself unto her. And she bolted the doors and said, Come thou unto me. But Joseph answered, May God preserve me. Behold, goodly has my master made my stay in this house. Verily, to no good end come they that do such wrong. And they both rushed to the door. And she grasped and rent his tunic from behind. And lo, they met her lord at the door. Said she, What ought to be the punishment of one who had evil designs on the virtue of thy wife? What but imprisonment, or a yet more grievous chastisement? But Joseph let this pass. And thou, O wife, ask forgiveness for thy sin, for verily thou hast been greatly at fault. Now the women of the city spoke thus to one another. The wife of this nobleman is trying to induce her slave boy to yield himself unto her. Her love for him has pierced her heart. Verily we see that she is undoubtedly suffering from an aberration.
Thereupon, when she heard of their malicious talk, she sent for them and prepared for them a sumptuous repast, and handed each of them a knife and said to Joseph, "Come out and show thyself to them." And when the women saw him, they were greatly amazed at his beauty, and so flustered were they that they cut their hands with their knives, exclaiming, "God save us! This is no mortal man. This is naught but a noble angel," said she. "This, then, is he about whom you have been blaming me. And, indeed, I did try to make him yield himself unto me, but he remained chaste. Now, however, if he does not do what I bid him, he shall most certainly be imprisoned, and shall most certainly be imprisoned, and shall most certainly find himself among the despised," said he. "O my sustainer, prison is more desirable to me than compliance with what these women invite me to, for unless thou turn away their guile from me, I might yet yield to their allure and become one of those who are unaware of right and wrong. For presently it occurred to the nobleman and his household, even after they had seen all the signs of Joseph's innocence, that they might as well imprison him for a time. Now 2 young men happened to go to prison at the same time as Joseph. One of them said, "Behold, I saw myself in dream pressing wine." And the other said, "Behold, I saw myself in a dream carrying bread on my head, and birds were eating thereof." And both entreated Joseph, "Let us know the real meaning of this. Verily, we see that thou art one of those who know well how to interpret dreams." Joseph answered, "Ere there comes unto you the meal which you are daily fed, I shall have informed you of the real meaning of your dreams, so that you might know what is to come before it comes unto you. For this is part of the knowledge which my sustainer has imparted to me. All that you worship instead of God is nothing but empty names which you have invented, you and your forefathers, and for which God has bestowed no warrant from on high. Judgment as to what is right and what is wrong rests with God alone. And he has ordained that you should worship naught but him. This is the one ever true faith, but most people know it not." And thereupon Joseph said unto the one of the 2 whom he considered saved, "Mention."
And one day the king said, "Behold, I saw in a dream 7 fat cows being devoured by 7 emaciated ones, and 7 green ears of wheat next to 7 others that were withered. O you nobles, enlighten me about the meaning of my dream, if you are able to interpret dreams." They answered, "This is one of the most involved and confusing of dreams, and we have no deep knowledge of the real meaning of dreams." At that, the one of the 2 erstwhile prisoners who had been saved, and who suddenly remembered Joseph after all that time, spoke thus, "It is I who can inform you of the real meaning of this dream. So let me go in search of it." And he went to see Joseph in the prison and said to him, "Joseph, O thou truthful one, enlighten us about the meaning of a dream in which 7 fat cows were being devoured by 7 emaciated ones, and 7 green ears of wheat appeared next to 7 others that were withered, so that I may return with thy explanation unto the people of the court, and that they may come to know what manner of man thou art." Joseph replied, "You shall sow for 7 years as usual, but let all the grain that you harvest remain untouched in its ear, excepting only a little, whereof you may eat. For after that period of 7 good years, there will come 7 hard years, which will devour all that you shall have laid up for them, excepting only a little of that which you shall have kept in store. And after that, there will come a year in which the people will be delivered from all distress, and in which they will press oil and wine as before. And as soon as Joseph's interpretation was conveyed to him, the king said, "Bring him before me." But when the king's messenger came unto him, Joseph said, "Go back to thy lord and ask him first to find out the truth about those women who cut their hands, for behold, until now it is my sustainer alone who has full knowledge of their guile." Thereupon the king sent for those women, and when they came, he asked, "What was it that you hoped to achieve when you sought to make Joseph yield himself unto you?" The women answered, "God save us, we did not perceive the least evil intention on his part." And the wife of Joseph's former master exclaimed, "Now has the truth come to light. It was I who sought to make him yield himself unto me, whereas he, behold, was indeed speaking the truth." And the king said, "Bring him unto me, so that I may attach him to my own person." And when he had spoken with him, the king said, "Behold, from this day thou shalt be of high standing with us, invested with all trust." Joseph replied, "Place in my charge the storehouses of the land. Behold, I shall be a good and knowing keeper." And thus we established Joseph securely in the land of Egypt. He had full mastery over it, doing whatever he willed. Thus do we cause our grace to alight upon whomever we will, and we do not fail to requite the doers of good. But in the eyes of those who have attained to faith and have always been conscious of us, a reward in the life to come is a far greater good than any reward in this world.